Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Primetime MMA for what is sure to be a very special event. This is the King of the Calves. As you can see, 4 organizations are participating. We've got Paradox MMA, the VFL, Agro, and the VFC, all vying to be the #1 created fighter. Joining me in the booth today is Kingsley and my Barbados brother, KM Valentine.
How are we doing, lads? This is going to be a great card. Speaking of King of the Calves, we do have these 4 different promotions representing each of the fighters. Kingsley, would you like to represent the fighters? Present them?
Yeah, absolutely. Take a look at this 8-man card for the King of the Calves. All of these amazing fighters showing up for their own brands. Perp Dog versus Toga, the Freeman versus G-Man, Morbid Mad Lab versus EK Dirty, Tinky Balboa going against Owen. All these guys looking to put on the show for the Primetime crown. I'm so excited to be here, guys.
Me too, bro. EK Dirty is a popular name among the community. He did revolve predominantly around Xbox, starting with ICB, my former campmate, and then BFAB, now EK. He is going to be a real trouble, ladies and gentlemen.
Talking about the Agro boys that are participating today, Morbid and Owen. Each guy has been a champion. Owen once undefeated over on the Xbox side. Morbid Mad Lad, a double champion over on the PlayStation side of things, but is well-rounded on both consoles. So got some real high-caliber players today, boys.
Definitely high-caliber players is what you expect when you compete on Primetime, regardless of the league you originate from. Speaking of competing, can't wait for the couple of fights to come up. Which fight stands out most to you, Kingsley?
I'm very excited to see what EK Dirty versus Morbid Mad Lad go in their first matchup. I remember calling their fights a long time ago in the ESFL, especially on the affiliate league cards, and I'm excited to see what kind of show they could put out in their beginning start. And I feel like once they get on a certain run, they could probably see themselves in the finale of this whole contest. So I'm excited about that matchup. But then again, there's so many unknown matchups I'm really loving to see. Bane, when you look at this, you have to say the same, right?
Definitely right. Every time that you're in a created fighter setting, anything can happen and anything will happen. One thing to mention over on that left-hand side of the bracket, Purple Urkle was unaware. Perp Dog is another alias that he goes by, but Purple Urkle, one of the rising stars in the Primetime promotion, definitely going to put on a show. You can see for some reason Owen has already launched himself into the finals. Unsure if that's something with the bracket or just a premonition potentially. We'll see if Owen can make that a reality, but either way, I am excited to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be, maybe it was a little bit of a prediction. Owen's already thinking like, you know what, this is gonna be easy in competition, so he's already trying to put himself in the finale because he knows that anything is possible, but he feels like he has the best advantage going against Tiki Balboa. But I'm guessing we're gonna be seeing that a little bit later on. But Valentine, when you look at the first matchup, a lot of things have to be going through their heads. They're starting out the first fight, Perp Dog versus Toga. It's gonna be a chess match when you go into the calf selection pick.
No, definitely, there, Kingsley. I think calves isn't my forte, but what I tend to lean more towards have been the kickboxing acrobat style. So when it comes to balanced virtuoso, you need to find what works best for your style, right? You want to replicate the fighters you normally use in a normal league. But when it comes to calf, you also mentioned it's like a chess match. What if the other guy goes Jiu-Jitsu Vanguard and you pick a calf with little to no sub D? Like, it makes all the difference in the world. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what picks they come out and if they choose to go the strategical route on countering each calf picks.
You can see here now we're going to go through a couple bios of the fighters. Purple Urkle, Perp Dog, 4-5 is his primetime all-time record. Was a former UCL welterweight champion. His kind of forte within the creative fighter is the showboating, boxer control pressure. Urkle is going to come forward, be in your face, and land those heavy hands that he's known for.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at him, you're going to hope that he's going to use all the maneuvers of a boxer going against Toro. Look at his record right here, 16-11 in his organization, 2-time champion, 1 defense, and he finished season 1 with 13 defenses. He's going with a balanced fighter, maybe a good submission artist, so a nice striker versus grappler matchup right over here.
have to think 5 submissions of the night, Kingsley. Definitely a concern for Purple Urkle, someone who, like King Valentine mentioned, a stand-up guy.
Definitely, and he also says they finished season 1 with 13 defenses. The only other person I know who finished the season with that many defenses and vacated the belt is our pound-for-pound GOAT. Who knows, maybe this man might be able to live up to his name.
It looks like we will see Tolga El Toro versus the Perp Dog, Purple Urkle. Let's get right into it. Up at 170, welterweight is where we're beginning things, Kingsley. Interesting that we're choosing this weight class.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, especially coming off from yesterday's fight card in the UFC. I mean, we're not going to see those buffs or updates when it comes to the welterweight division. I mean, Luque looked like a monster in that last match against Michael Chiesa. I mean, his submissions are going to get buffed, and I think Toga might have wished that he had Valence Luque in that situation as a creative fighter in this situation. But again, boxer showboat, nothing very much out of the ordinary, but very interesting to see how this goes down, Valentine.
Definitely there, Kingsley. I think one key thing you mentioned was the Luque, right? Maybe if he is a Luque fan, he could always go for the Luque stance, which is the closest you're going to get with calf picks. But I am very curious to see who is going to hit the ground first, because we are considering Tolga to be a stand-up fighter. He might just turn it around and take him down just to show him, hey, if you want the fight to go to the ground, let's just start there and then work our way from there.
We'll say balanced showboat does come with a slippery perk, which means that denies, escapes, and counters are more easy when grappling on the feet. So if there's a lot of clinching from El Toro, Purple Urkle may have a slight advantage in those situations. Good respect shown by both sides.
Yeah, and when you think about the first round, this is always your filling out process. You want to see what your opponent's going to do. Just make sure you don't really unveil much, but as you see with the knees and strikes, you can already see that pressure with the head kick just landing so nicely. So Purple's already going to his game plan.
Definitely. And I think you mentioned the reading out round there, sorry to interrupt, and Purple Urkle might not want to show too much of what his calf is able to do with those spin kicks to the head and to the body. Might be worthwhile saving it even at least to the later part of the first round to catch his opponent off guard.
It's interesting that Urkle is employing such a kick-heavy approach against what is known as a grappler. Would think that he'd try to stay with the hands and read out these positions. Now right there, Tolga catches that kick, clinches up midway through the first.
Yeah, and that's what Toga needs to do. He needs to catch those kicks. If he's going to be landing those kicks as he gets a takedown right here in the half guard, this is what the game plan has to be. He's going to have his opponent a little bit scared of going for those kicks again if he's able to catch those and just get in his mind's opponent of just figuring out what he wants to do. So already a good stop, but a good get up from Purple.
Beautiful patience and composure from Purple Urkle there. Now he might want to not look for the spin in the pocket. That leaves him so vulnerable for the hooks coming from Tolga there.
Massive midsection work from Purple Urkle. Again, we've questioned the strategy with the spinning kicks, but he seems to know more than we do.
Yeah, I mean, flying knee.
If it ain't broke, why change it, right?
Yeah, I mean, with under 2 minutes, I mean, it's working, but again, Tolga, I mean, he's still in a good position. I mean, he just needs to get another takedown, just try to keep his opponent down. Just watch out for those body shots. Those body shots are working so nicely for Purple, but again, in these moments, he just needs to implement more takedowns right here, as he goes right here.
Ooh, beautiful defense from Purple.
Good body
and
shot.
Another spinning kick to the body. You can see the stamina is already being drained for that red corner. Tolga really needs to find an answer to the spins. Great takedown right there. A minute remains in this opening round.
A beautiful switch up from Purple Urkle there. He went to the full guard, half guard gap last time. This time he goes down. These are the things I hope Tolga is making note of, because this could come in handy in the later rounds.
Yeah, and we're
ball
seeing
right here. 30 seconds remain.
Yeah, and with this, good denial right there. This is what Tolga needs to do. Tolga just needs to find a way of just keeping it all the way to the ground, because the takedowns have been working. Into that second throw, was able to implement it more into the ground game. So if he could just keep on doing this, he might have a better shot in the second round.
Definitely, Kingsley. I just don't know about the approach of, going for those transitions to buy time. I would have much rather have him fake half guard or do an undeniable, because that stamina cost do transfer to the second round, especially when Bane mentioned the huge stamina advantage he had. I'm not sure if that's going to come and bite him in the back later in this round.
One thing to mention, big shout out to Aggro Fighting for the 2 gifted subs. Massively appreciate the support that allows us to put on bigger and better events moving forward. Round 2 getting started right here. Have to think Purple Urkle very satisfied with that first set of 5 minutes. Tora has some work cut out for him, Kingsley.
Yeah, but this is the adaptability. This is where you need to be in the spotlight and figure out what you're going to be doing. That was the filling out process. Now you need to go and adapt, and that's how it's going to make you a better fighter. So you can already see he's backing up a little bit, not trying to really trade much of the pocket, just watching out for those flying knees. If he protects the body and just go for another takedown, he's going to have Purple in a bad situation. But again, Purple playing the range game very nicely right here, Valentine.
Definitely. Range is something I've always been very fond of. Triple body hooks, not able to capitalize on the vulnerability there. That would have been huge if he managed to throw 2 body, 1 head. But we keep it moving. That just comes to show, right, Kingsley, as you were saying, both ways.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You live or die by the kicks, and Purple's doing it. He does it again, but again, a slip, maybe a sidestep, puts him in danger all this time. So he's doing really well. He got the body rock from the first round, but if he could do it again, he needs to be a little bit careful, because now Toga is adapting to that style, Bane. Look at this right here!
Right there again, all it takes is one sway to get out of the way. Toga really capitalizing on these moments. You can see on the inside having a lot more success than he did in the first round. Big straight right there, momentarily steps back, Purple Urkle.
And it's just so nice. I mean, the knees are working for Purple, but Purple, every time he gets in his range to have his opponents back to the cage, he's looking for that spinning roundhouse, and it's not working. And then the takedown right here. Toga is feeling the momentum right here, Valentine.
Definitely. That's exactly what I was going to say. You do feel the momentum change in this round. And Purple Urkle is giving up denials. That's going to cost him. Maybe a knee bar is coming.
Oh, wow.
There is AC tone if he isn't too careful. We did see the first knee bar yesterday at prime time. This might be the second one. It is looking too good for Toro at this point, and I think this is a wrap, lads.
The 13 defenses, the 5-time submission of the night leader gets it done in the second, rallying from what was a very large first round for Purple Urkle. El Tolga gets it done in 2.
I mean, that's the story of these fights, right? When you get into a spot like this, in the first round, you want to blow that tank. You want to get a first round knockout and prove to be the best fighter in the world. But there's also a second round and there's a third round. And the only good fighters in these games is the people who can adapt and find a way to implement their game plan out of the filling out process. So good job from Toga from just getting away from that first round and doing what he does best, and that's getting the submission victory.
Definitely. I'm going to be curious to see how the other guys who are watching this fight is going to create a game plan for this man, because you do not want to hit the ground. The way he's so composed before going for submissions, that is something that's very scary to see.
Moving onwards and upwards, continuing down that left side, Dan, the Freeman versus the G-Man to decide who meets Tolga in the semifinals.
And I'm like, the battle of the mans, to be honest. I mean, Freeman versus G-Man, this is what you love to see in these tournaments. I don't know much about these competitors. I'm sure we're going to get the fire profiles, but very interesting to see after that first fight, how are they going to implement their strategies against possibly going against Tolga. So if we get to see what they like to do, their records, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of amazing fight in this matchup right here, Valentine.
Definitely, Kingsley. And like yourself, I too am not familiar with these two guys, but I really hope there's a submission specialist between them, because that would be a fight I would pay to watch.
Yeah,
we'll wait for the boys in the back to bring up the graphics for Freeman and G-Man. Believe that Freeman also representing the French League alongside Tolga. Unsure who G-Man is representing in this one.
Yeah, well, we can see it right here. Freeman from VFC, as you said, Bane, 20-2, 15 KOs, 2 submissions, 3 decisions, a 2-time champion in the VFC. finished season 1 with 13 defenses. So similar strategy that we saw from Toga. Balanced fighter with a strategist. So it seems like he's been working in the lab possibly with Toga. So if he has the same strategy as Toga, he might have a good showing against his opponent right here, Valentine.
Definitely. And again, like you said, this guy is also a 2-times champ with finishing season 1 with 13 defenses. Maybe he might end up facing his own, I guess, league mate is the word.
Yeah, and then
over across the pond now representing VFL is the G-Man, 5-2 all-time overall season 2 so far, 3-1 with 2 submissions to his name. Now, as you mentioned, he is a submission threat with good striking to go along with it. That is a complementary skill set if I've ever seen one, Valentine.
Definitely, mate. And the submission threat is something what I said earlier, right? I want to see more submission guys to go against Tolga because that man had it on lock. So I'm low-key hoping that G-Man beats Freeman. Don't know either of them. Got nothing against either of them. Just want to see 2 sub guys go at semi.
Well, either way, a man's going to win this next matchup, but I'm liking what we're seeing. It seems like that's been the trend of the competitive UFC 4 competitive scene. We've been seeing submissions being so heavily favored in the beginning of UFC 4, but now making its return, despite all the nerfs and buffs that we've been seeing through the patches. It just seems like from what we saw from the UFC Esports Summer League, that submissions are king when it comes to these games. So as we see, I didn't see the wrestler versus balance engine. I mean, Bane, when you look at this matchup, we might just have a ground warfare matchup right here.
Yeah, I think so. Engine's got a ton of great stuff going forward in the grappling domain for switch to versatility last moment. Maybe just looking at Engine just to see versatility, though. Also, similarly, very, very well-rounded. Have to give a big shout-out to the real Griff Graff for the raid. Welcome to the King of the Calf Grand Prix.
Now, one thing was interesting you mentioned there, Kingsley, was the return of the submission, right? And that's always something you'd like to see because as good as you can get in UFC 4, submission is almost another game that you have to get good at, and choke is a different game to join. So you're playing 2 to 3 games when it comes to being a sub-expert, and that's what makes it more interesting for me to watch these submission guys battle it out on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. And already going to the fill out process. I mean, this ain't boxing. This is mixed martial arts. You need to be very vast in the submission game and the striking game. And already we're seeing taunts right here, Bane.
Some gamesmanship out of the Freeman. G-Man kind of retreating, staying on the outside. The Kumite Arena lands a big overhand partially. Now shoots for a takedown.
Goes for power double and secures the side control. Let's see what he's able to do from here.
Yeah, already trying to bait out that submission right there, G-Man is trying to do. But, like, so far, this is what we expected from both of these guys from their fighter profiles. Submission game, ground warfare. This is going to be a chess match that we haven't seen in this tournament yet so far. So it'd be really interesting who gets the advantage with these transition denials. Because now you have to bait out your opponent because everyone knows, especially with that reverse. What a good job.
Beautiful fake
job.
Secures the side.
One thing that really... Sorry, Valentine. One thing that really separates the good from the great on the ground is patience and composure. You can see Daniel the Freeman was in a terrible position. G-Man had that top mount control, but you stay true to your guns, and now you're taking the back right here, Valentine.
This is one of the most dangerous submission positions to be in because that RNC, in my opinion, is stronger than the back sitting one, back flat RNC. So it's good to see... believe Freeman get off that position.
G-Man
Tough.
right back to top mount. Oh, Kingsley.
Yeah, very tough. I mean, this is what he wants to do. Oh, but again, those slips. Every time you try to strike down the middle, that slip, and then you don't want to give the Freeman any chance to get a submission out because that stamina was so low. I mean, had to be just a deer in the headlights when it comes to that stamina being lost right there, Valentine.
Definitely, Kingsley. And I would have loved to see from Freeman just a little bit more patience because he was too keen on the full guard, half guard sweep. At that point, it just made it too obvious for G-Man. Again, if he's able to build that GA, like Dean said, patience is what makes you better on the ground. Just focus on building that GA and working onto it. Who knows? Maybe he will work on it in between rounds. Right now, we go back to the feet.
Ooh, good strikes right here from Daniel the Freeman inside the pocket. G-Man now staying on the outside, probably looking to shoot once again. Just over 60 seconds remain in this opening round.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit of return of those spinning kicks. And again, the detriment. I don't understand. You go for it continuous times, consistently, and you just get yourself pieced up and get punished so easily. I don't understand why go for the spinning back kick multiple times in that contest.
I don't think it's
simply
the
just
consistency more so than the stance, because the stance is what makes it harder to duck or slip right. Because if he was to switch stance and throw that kick again, then he would have just done more damage because G-Man would have been walking towards. I think for now, Freeman is safe because the submission is not strong enough or deep enough for him to be in any trouble.
This was definitely just a trying to get some control time to ride out the round. Daniel the Freeman, high IQ play to secure that takedown with under a minute remaining. But G-Man, wise to it, gets that control time to conclude things. Really closely contested first 5 minutes. Kingsley unsure who's going to have that one if we go to the judges' scorecards.
Yeah, we already said before this fight was starting that it's going to be a close contest, especially in the ground and in the striking. So much. I'm happy I'm not going to be a judge through this contest because I can see this going to the judges' scorecards. But so far, I'm liking what they're doing. This is where the IQ is going to come into the play. And that nice strip right there, my God.
That is something you do not see often, if ever, in UFC 4. That, ladies and gentlemen, is done by holding the right bumper as you defend the takedown, or R2, R1 on PlayStation, I believe. R1, R2, and L2.
It's one of those buttons. You know, you just click R3 and then just pray. That's the main situation there. But so far, backside in the situation right here, back into the half guard. I mean full guard. Excuse me. I'm surprised we're not seeing much of a submission attempt, but just going back to the stand-up and kind of a good strategy from Freeman right here, Bane.
I think so, right? It's sort of giving G-Man different things to look and see, but G-Man landing on the inside right here, effectively 1-2, connecting to the chin.
Wow.
It seems like we criticize these spinning attempts, but every competitor has been using them quite effectively, Kingsley.
Yeah, it's working well. I mean, he told me to shut up because saying, hey, I'll do what I have to do to get a victory right here. But so far, I mean, if he goes for it again, he also leads him up. So it's a 50-50 chance as we get a power slam right here in the side control. It just seems it's so risky, but so rewarding. So it's high risk, high reward. And I'm excited to see if they do able to stand up. Maybe we'll get to see it again. But I'm just too scared in that situation for him.
Definitely, mate. And I was just about to say, Freeman has been very keen on the half guard reversal. I had hoped G-Man would have made that read, but this could cost him the rest of the round if he's able to keep G-Man on his back from here.
Backside for G-Man now rolling over. Have to think Freeman might want to slide over and take it. No, back to side control we go. 90 seconds remain. Knee on belly. Freeman lands a couple strikes, but G-Man able to shrimp out and kind of cover up a little bit, Kingsley.
Yeah, he's able to cover up, but like in this situation, with so little time left, you only need 45 seconds to get like an actual submission off. If you're going to be in this situation, do what you have to do right here. Get some ground and pound, get some damage, get the judges on your side of the score. And look, these denials are working so well right here, Valentine.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he didn't go for a submission there because he had a huge stamina advantage. I mean, if you're G-Man now, what would you do, Bane?
I think, you know, be patient, right? Wait for the moment right there. That is a great lead uppercut, catching the kick. You know, this second round, there's only 20 seconds remaining, so riding it out and just trying to make as many reads as possible is the strategy I think G-Man should look to. Third round is upon us in a couple seconds. And again, you have to think, right? A very close first 5 minutes. This second round, Dan Freeman definitely has it in my book. But third round, I think could be 1-1 apiece, up for grabs as we come to the final 5 minutes, Kingsley.
You could be right, but one little thing that we saw in those last couple of seconds from G-Man, he tried to go for this uppercut overhand combination for 3 straight combinations. I'll be surprised if he tries to go for it to the beginning of this third and final round here.
Definitely, and that's the kind of things you don't want to do when you're competing in a Grand Prix, right? You don't want to be giving your opponent a pattern to read unless you're willing to break that pattern and catch them off guard. because this could just cost him the fight.
The other thing that you bring up, right, is Tolga is waiting in the wings for the semifinals between whoever wins this one, right? And he's making the reads before the fight's even begun. So trying to stay as unpredictable as possible. Great reversal right there.
This is something I'm loving, honestly. It's just such a beautiful thing to see because no one utilizes it anymore.
It's just so lovely, so nice. I mean, I'm learning a lot of stuff from this contest. I mean, those counters are just so amazing. And into side control right here, this is what Freeman, if he could take control of this whole top control situation for as long as he can, he could be up 2 rounds to 1 going to the judges' scorecards. But there's plenty of fight to be here, Valentine.
Oh, that was a huge denial. Again, if I'm not wrong, I believe both of them are submission guys. I don't know if I'm not seeing what they are seeing, because I felt like there was a lot of opportunities for Freeman there to lock in a submission given the stamina advantage, Bane.
Maybe he's understanding that alongside his opponent, right? Very good submission threat in his own right. So submitting him might not even be a possibility. Let's go for control and position over maybe the submission.
Oh, flying knee landing right there. Good job by Freeman. But again, the overhand just lets him lose with the stamina. And the head kick landing again.
G-Man needs
most
to
significant
off the bag right now.
Massive hip toss again. Most significant moment of the fight through the first 13 minutes is that knockdown. G-Man has a Mount Everest to climb in front. Daniel the Freeman.
Oh, this is
it right here.
Wow.
That is it. That is it. The G-Man TKO'd in round 3, courtesy of Daniel the Freeman's lethal hands.
I'll tell you this. I am super excited for Tolga versus Freeman because I feel like that is going to be a barn burner into the semifinal matchup. I mean, take a look what Freeman did. He did some nasty counters. He was able to take control of the ground game, and not even with his submissions. He didn't even threaten much with the submissions. Maybe one submission attempt in that first round, and just able to pound his opponent in this posture up, and it works so well with his game plan. Just a great showing.
I'm telling you guys now, Freeman's my pick to win this contest. I loved what I saw. I mean, you got big names, right? Like, you got Morbid Mad Lad, you got Dirty. Again, we just saw Tolga with this beautiful sub game, and there's so much more we need to see. But this man, he can strike, he can outstrike, he can move, he can control range, and he can counter you when you're going for takedowns, which might be a problem for Tolga watching these fights. Having said that, Bane, you did point out Morbid Mad Lad, one of your aggro guys, if I'm not wrong.
Morbid was the, I believe, second double champion in aggro history, has that caliber, a grappler by trade, but has impressed me with his striking improvements of recent. However, EK Dirty, anytime you're taking on an EK member, you have to sort of take a breath and say, man, this is going to be a war. Those guys bring it anytime they're inside the octagon, and Morbid will absolutely have his hands full. The question will be, can Morbid Mad Lad get this fight to the ground?
He's going to have a tough time because we know EK Dirty, he has experience in these situations. I mean, as we take a look at EK Dirty, he's representing Primetime MMA, 4-1 all-time with a PlayStation record, a #1 previous Xbox champ, and a multiple PlayStation contender, has elite grappling and excellent pressure fighting. The best combination for UFC 4. I mean, you want to have skills and transition denials when you go to the ground game, but then the fact that you can put it on your opponent and use the stamina to its full extent. I mean, Morbid Mad Lad is going to have a full plate on his platter going to this fight right here, Valentine.
Definitely, mate. And one thing, I do have to disagree with Bane was if Morbid Mad Lad could get the fight to the ground. I have sparred with Dirty multiple times. He is no slouch on the ground. And Morbid Mad Lad might want to keep it on the feet. Now, we do see Morbid Mad Lad's record representing aggro. Like Bane mentioned, he is the 2-time champion with a 13-5 all-time record. It's a high-level grappler and a submission artist. One thing I'm seeing to see a trend here, Bane, is all these calf guys have or tend to be more gravitating towards submission.
Definitely is interesting. A lot of the archetypes do give way towards grappling if you're not going for some of those boxer or kickboxer archetypes, right? It's embedded inside of them to have a lot of submissions. That balanced class is what I used when I was competing. Balanced Virtuoso has some great submissions as well as well-rounded outside of it. Whenever you choose boxer or kickboxer, you're limiting yourself for a slight edge in the striking domain. There's still great striking in the other archetypes, which may be why we're seeing a lot more grappler focused class picks.
Yeah, and one key thing that we saw with Morbid Matlab when he went to Jiu-Jitsu Vanguard, I mean, 4.5 star bottom control, 4.5 submissions. This is like, if he wants to go to the ground, he's going to be perfectly fine offensively and defensively. So it's up to EK Dirty what he could do with the balanced creative fighter.
Definitely not. Notice there, EK Dirty was up on him 2-0. But as we all know, being up on someone 2-0 in ranked or in normal fight is completely different from competing. So I'm curious to see how the nerves are going to play out between these gentlemen.
Oh, early takedown right there from EK Dirty Dave. Now into side control.
Wow, and this is the start you kind of want. You want to say, hey, if you have elite grappling, well, try to beat me right here on the ground and just try to see if you have the amount of skill to defend in the bottom control. And so far, Dirty Dave, he's coming to the play. He's saying, you know what, well, let's not try to do a filling out process. I'm going to get you uncomfortable and just make sure I have top control on you. So,
wow.
Good start so far.
Ooh, that just
that body
hammering at the midsection.
I didn't even know it did that much damage.
Body. At this point, I don't even know about the damage. I'm more concerned about, Morbid's mindset right now, because you're just giving away free damage, uncontrolled time. What are you looking to get out of it? Is my question.
Ooh, good
able to get that
reversal right there from double champion. Now Morbid at a slight stamina deficit early in this first round. Reversal from EK Dirty Dave. You can see his grappling advantage was just high enough to get that one done.
Yeah, we might just be seeing a tennis match when it comes to the ground game. I mean, both guys have the stamina to go all 3 rounds with it, especially with Jiu-Jitsu and Balance Virtuoso being used. But again, in this sprawl position, this is where Dave was able to do a lot of damage to the body. And as you see, he stands him up, and you have to think, attack the body. You already did so much damage on the ground to the body. You might as well do it now and get your opponent off his guard.
Definitely, you want to get him thinking low so he can go high, right? That's kind of the classic of the UFC game. You think high, I'd go low. You think low, I'd go high. But also what you have to keep into account is the takedown threat of Morbid Lad. As I say that, he goes for a turning takedown and secures it. Now, this time around, he's on top lane. And this is where I hope he's going to outshine Dave, because if this isn't the place, it's going to be looking tough for Morbid Mad Lad.
Definitely right. 4 minutes through this first round. Morbid Mad Lad needs to have some success, and he's finding it right here. Lethal ground and pound on the face of EK Dirty Dave. Morbid Mad Lad just winging those strikes downstairs. 45 seconds to work. We will see if he maybe wants to go for a submission attempt just to get that control time. Now taking the back right here.
He is stealing the round right here. He is stealing it around with the ground and pound, with the armbar attempts. If he could take most of this control, he might be able to get it around. I mean, Dirty Dave was doing so much damage in that sprawl position, but this is just going to outweigh everything with the last couple of seconds.
Definitely. The damage that you do in sprawl is no amount equitable to the damage, you can do from mount, right? And if I'm not wrong, the game do score you based on damage over strikes on rocks or knockdowns. And I believe Morbid Mad Lad actually got a rock off the ground and pound. Bane.
I think so. Yeah, that first round could be in Morbid Mad Lad's favor. A bit of a striking edge overall to EK Dirty Dave. But yeah, the significance goes to the red corner in this one. EK Dirty Dave now testing it inside the pocket. Morbid shooting. Can he get it? No, he can't. EK Dirty Dave reverses the position. Great elbow right there on the inside.
Oh, good. Good denial. Try to get back. Oh, what a nice front kick. And this is what Morbid Mad Lad needs to do. Checking back to his fight stats. I mean, it was 36-15, but 6-4 in significant strikes in favor of Morbid Mad Lad. But this is what he needs to do. Get that stamina low, go into side control, and maybe just put it on his opponent. Do more of the posture up. It was working so well for you in that first round. Just why not just keep on doing it?
Definitely. Let's see if he can secure the top one again, because that's where, you know, he kind of stole the round from Dirty Dave. As I say that he secures the top one, this is not a good position for Dirty Dave. He gives up his back again.
Oh, boy.
He's so comfortable giving up his back.
Now there is a lot more time on the clock for Morbid Mad Lad to work against the EK incumbent. 3 minutes right here. Back flat once again. Now taking it. Got the hooks in. Let's see if he wants to go for that armbar or maybe that rear naked choke.
Yeah, but there's a cause and effect when you try to go for an armbar or a submission attempt. You know both guys have good ground game or good submission defense, so why not? You probably don't even want to go for a submission right there because you don't want to give up position. You just want to keep it right here. But with 2:25 left in the second round, I mean, Dirty Dave, he needs to put on his opponent right now.
Definitely, and like you said, Bane, it is position over submission. And Kingsley just highlighted that as I say that Dave gets dropped by a lethal uppercut from Morbid Mad Lad.
And that moment was caused courtesy of EK Dirty Dave being too concerned about the takedown threat. Now you can see Morbid shooting right here, but Dirty Dave needs to get things going in the other dimensions of this fight. It is mixed martial arts. Mix it up, EK Dirty Dave.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. He didn't have his time to get the damage he wanted from that powerful spin kick to the head.
Oh, this is getting really scary. Any one mistake, I mean, a good denial into that sprawl position from Dave, but you know, just keep it standing up. You had a good spinning roundhouse, keep it standing up, try to attack your opponent, and then that body shot just kind of missing, not really fully in range. But this is where he wants to get back one. He has 45 seconds to get somewhere. Oh, try to go for an axe kick there, not really landing, but it's getting really, really close. Any one mistake could be the cost of this, Bane.
Ooh. No, just completely, and you can see the urgency from EK Dirty Dave really uncorking the arsenal that he has. Morbid Mad Lad staying patient. If I'm Dirty Dave, I am attacking the body of Morbid Mad Lad. Morbid, typically when it comes to defense, has his forearms in front of his face, not really guarding the midsection a ton. Knees would benefit EK Dirty Dave greatly. That second round, you could see the significant strikes, slight edge to EK Dirty Dave, but that knockdown could secure the round for Morbid Mad Lad.
And also, Dave, he has the stamina advantage. So if he wants to throw the kitchen sink out right here, he can. I mean, Morbid Mad Lad tried to go for that takedown right there, not really landing. And this is where he wants to be. If you're going to go into the ground situation, into half guard, go for some posture ups. Try to not go for any straight shots, but do some damage on your opponent. You can't leave it to the judges' scorecards right here, Valentine.
Definitely. And like you said, go for postures. If you're so worried about a reversal, just throw 3 strikes because you can't get reversed of 3 unless you throw the straight first. I'm very, very keen to see how Dave can turn around because at this point, Dave is not looking good on the judges' scorecard going 2 rounds down. He manages to get to side control here against Morbid Mad Lad. Let's see what he can actually do with it. Again, Morbid always seems to, prefer the sprawl position from side control. I wonder if Dirty is able to make a read on that because all these body punches is doing nothing.
Yeah, and the body is blinking right here, Valentine. I mean, just the stamina being low and Morbid, he's playing a little bit patient, but how many times is that body shot going to get down? And with it now, he's got a submission right here. This is trouble right here.
This is huge, Kingsley. This guillotine is strong, but Dave chooses not to go for it and feints it to get the backside. I don't know if I agree with this strategy because I would have just kept going for the body because he was having a lot more success getting that body rocked. And if he could manage to stand up and throw a 4-piece to the body, that might have been it.
Yeah, and there's still so much time left. I mean, there's still chances to rebound and come back if you're Morbid Mad Lad in this third round. Or if you're Dave, just keep in this situation right here. Get away from his position. But again, the reversal. And this is not where Dave wants to be here, Valentine.
Definitely not. He does get a good denial, but Dave should be the one to rush for a finish. Morbid Mad Lad is in no position to go for a rush. And as I say, that he gets the rolling knee bar. I don't think Dave's in any sort of trouble. However, the stamina is something he needs to keep an eye on.
It's going to be real tricky here. I don't know if, because it could be 1-1, it could be 2-0. I would try to go for a finish. Just throw everything out the window because you can't assume that you're up 2 rounds or if you're down in scorecard. You just have to just go with 1 minute left right here, Bane.
especially when you have done enough damage to really secure a 10-8 in any way, shape, or form, right? I think that it's definitely much more feasible to assume Morbid's got the first 2 rounds locked up, right? That the health event courtesy of the ground and pound, and then that knockdown in round 2. Dirty Dave really needs to unload as much as he can in the final 30 seconds.
I just don't know how much he can get done here, Bane. With the judges' scoring being as realistic to the real UFC as possible, it could be either man's game. I hate to say it, but I feel like Morbid should get the dub, but it could easily go to Dave, depending on how the scoring goes.
We did see a 30-27 in the Bobby Green fight, so like, anything is possible here. Let's be honest, but we'll see who gets the victory in this situation.
You have to say, right? Wow. I think that we skipped through, but EK Dirty Dave.
Split decision.
You can see right there, it's a split decision, 29-28 on 2 scorecards. The second judge did give Morbid the 29-28. Man, you have got to think, if you're Morbid Mad Lad, you are kicking yourself for giving away that 3rd round. So many different opportunities to disengage. That was a massive 3rd round for EK Dirty Dave.
I think the first round might have gone to Dave there, Kingsley, because he did land a lot more strikes than Morbid did, regardless of that rock on the ground and pound. That might just have been the answer to his victory there.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying from when we were getting to the second round, that the fight size was like 36-15 in total strikes landed, but it was 8-6 possibly in Morbid Mad Lad in significant strikes. They're going to look more to the total strikes landed in that first round, even though it was really close, and it's on the judges' scorecards. But second round, obviously, Morbid Mad Lad with the knockdown and all that stuff. But the third round, I feel like Morbid thought he had the first round in the bag, and that's why he didn't fully go for the kill. That's why we went for reversals or stay to the ground game rather than try to stay standing up, knowing that he could like instantly knock his opponent down because he did so much work on the head health. But man, that's why you don't leave it to the judges right there, Bane.
Having said that, guys, we have our next fight.
Yeah, it just is.
Balboa and Owen.
Go ahead, Bane.
Owen. So Tinky Balboa and Owen will be concluding the preliminary round. I have to think Owen, 4-0 all-time record, representing Aggro, the #1 contender, has excellent combos as well as a killer instinct. When this guy is in the pocket, he is dangerous. And definitely, it was undefeated champion over at a CAF organization, one of the largest CAF organizations on the scene. This guy rose to the ranks very quickly. His opponent, Tinky Balboa, on the other hand, is representing the VFL, 5-1 all-time record, twice knocking out people, twice submitting people, and that tells you all you need to know. This guy is balanced as he can be, with a lot of great ink to show as well, Kingsley.
Yeah, and I had to be a little bit scared for Owen right there, because even though he has excellent combinations, all we've been seeing in this Grand Prix is just ground game, a little bit of submissions, and also just good combinations. So he has a lot ahead of him. If he could be able to make a run after this first fight, he might have some trouble going down the line. But just an excellent contest, as we're seeing another striker versus grappler matchup right here, Valentine.
Definitely. I mean, Tinky Balboa, I am loving the cap. What I'm curious to see is the balanced archetype, right? Not necessarily the archetype of the cap, but more of the fighter themselves, because that was what we saw from Freeman.
Yeah, and with Freeman, I mean, we could see, I think, who was it? Owen going with a kickboxer sniper. And with his situation, wake up call, crazy legs as one of his perks, stand up 4.5. And also a key thing, health, it's going to be 4.5. But he goes for a balance. So different.
Picks a balance calf against
on the other side, wrestlers, Smasher, 2.5 star stand up, 4.5 star grappling, 4.5 star health. The Smasher has 5-star takedowns and ground striking. If Tinky Balboa can get this down to the mat, Owen will be in serious trouble.
Yeah, but that has to be the game plan, right? Like, he has to know that his opponent is going to try to take him down. So whatever you do, just protect and just keep the pressure on your opponent. Maybe if he keeps the pressure enough where he attacks the body, maybe he makes Tinky not even go for the takedown. But we'll have to see in this fight.
What I'm more curious to see, Bane, is the wrestling from Tinky. As I say that he shoots for a takedown. Beautiful defense from Owen. Loving the blue hair.
Yeah, it's kind of fire though, not gonna lie.
Yeah, especially with the shots. It's kind of like chalk blue.
Yeah. It's a nice blue.
Yeah, it is.
Tinky Balboa wants to take this one down from Mac. He definitely needs to set things up better. Axe kick right there. There's the takedown.
Yeah, and along with the takedown, you have to think how much you're going to rely on the takedowns. Because we saw two defense of said takedowns from Owen. Owen knows what he needs to do, but again, in these situations, he has a bit of a disadvantage. But if he's able to get up, maybe with 3 minutes remaining, maybe he could do some damage to steal this round back here, Valentine.
Yeah, I mean, with Owen, right, I haven't seen enough to compliment or comment on anything, but he did go for that spin kick to the head, now switched it to the body. If he's able to set that up, not sure how familiar you are with that spin kick there, Bane, that could easily end the night for him. That's one of the most powerful kicks in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Completely, and mixing it up to the midsection and giving
combinations
different spots to look at will only help him. Massive knockdown right there from Owen.
This is what you want to do if you're Owen. You want to make sure you get those combinations, pressure your opponent so he doesn't have a chance to go for a takedown right here. Go for uppercuts, make this guy uncomfortable, but don't get so overzealous where you leave yourself up to a sidestep takedown. But so far, so good. This is what Owen wants to do right here.
Definitely, Kingsley. And those hooks that he just got out in the flurry just made a huge difference to this round. And it kind of looks like put Balboa off his game there.
Oh my God, the slips are nasty. And the kick. It is madness right now. Unbelievable. These guys want to go for the so bad.
What the knockout?
Isn't that it? Owen with a massive KO.
Clean as a whistle. You can't defeat the combos when they're that squeaky clean. And Owen proved that he is ready for any grappler. He is the odd man out in this Grand Prix, and he's looking to make it an underdog. Sorry, trying to go to the finale, but man, just clean right there, Valentine.
Hey man, it's the chalk hair. I'm telling you. It's the chalk hair. He's going to be someone to watch out. Hopefully, Dirty Dave is watching this fight, and if Dirty can get hit to the ground, who knows what Owen has up his sleeve, because we didn't see much on the ground, so he might be an even more scarier grappler there. Thing.
Definitely, yeah. You know, I think Owen's takedown defense really shined throughout the majority of that fight. Tinky Balboa, not to take anything away from him necessarily, but you have to set those takedowns up a little bit better, right? Coming out of the gates, shooting, that's easy for Owen to defend. Again, this guy is a champion, but so is pretty much everybody else that is progressing to the semifinals. So, Tolga versus Daniel the Freeman, EK Dirty versus Owen. Great matchups as we progress through the King of the Calves.
And like as we proceed on to the semifinalists, I mean, the first matchup, Toga versus Freeman, both guys from the same organization in VFC. I mean, these guys probably seeing each other a bunch of times in the league, fighting each other or maybe seeing each other's fights. So there's nothing really going to be a surprise between the two competitors. And then on the other side, EK Dirty versus Owen. I mean, I can't wait to see that. But going to the first competitor in the first semifinal, Toga, we saw him very great with submissions, balanced fighter, 16-11 in his organization, 5 submissions of the night, 2-time champ, finished season 1 with 13 defenses. I mean, Valentine, when you go to his opponent, he has a lot on his way going against his opponent.
Yeah, he really does there, Kingsley. I mean, we did see Freeman. I genuinely think he's going to be the one to watch out in this Grand Prix. 20-2, 2 double champ, 15 KO, 2 sub 3 decisions, and what we saw from that I personally love was those counters to those takedowns. Now Tolga, that is something he needs to watch out for, because we didn't see Tolga too much on his back. We saw him predominantly dominating the top control. Who knows? I'm curious to see how this fight's gonna pan out.
Either way, absolutely excited for this one.
Yeah, and as it's gonna be in welterweight again, and like with Kamaru, I mean, look at this, 39-35 in favor of Toga. These guys know everything. They're basically rivals, as you see in the bottom right. I mean, with the creative fighters again. What is? Oh, this is French. They're actually so. I think we're gonna see. There's a lot on the line, but I don't even know what we're going to be seeing here. But Valentine, Bane, I'm excited for this matchup. Who do you guys have going through into the finale?
Freeman, baby. Freeman, and my boy Chalk over there.
Okay. What about you, Bane?
Definitely. It seemed like Dan Freeman fought a much more game opponent than Toro did in that first matchup. So I would have to edge to him. Again, when you see the rivalry between fighters online, 39-35, it's difficult to put any weight in that just because there's no context, right? That could have been 74 sparring sessions where they were both learning from each other, and who knows what it really was like. But either way, with that amount of history between a competitor, you have to know that this one will be a barn burner for as long as it lasts.
Yeah, I'm
definitely. Sorry, Kingsley.
No, you're totally fine. I'm just super excited to see how this plays out because we already have a notion of how these guys are going to be fighting from their first round, but this second round, especially with all the history between these guys, I'm so excited and hyped to see how this goes down.
Definitely, mate. And like I said, right, Freeman's my pick. I'm backing him all the way. Never seen him fight before this card, but hey, he's got my support. But not taking anything away from Toro. If he's able to get that submission on, it might just be night for Freeman. That was the second ever leg or knee bar that we've seen in PrimeTime.
Great respect shown by both competitors. You could see Freeman marching across the Kumite Arena to stand right in the face of Toro.
Up close and personal with the camera right here. And you can already tell that these guys mean business. Just standing in the center of the Kumite Arena and just playing out their distance a little bit. You know, I thought they would go guns blazing. We saw a little bit of a combination, but now it feels like more of a filling out process, trying to see who gives up the most strides, but it slips and front kicks are landing hot and heavy, guys.
What a beautiful slip lead uppercut to the head. I'm liking what Toro has to answer for everything Dan's thrown his way. I don't know, really like the sidekick that Dan's using to control the range. Maybe use the push kick more just to give him a different look because you don't want him conditioned to the sidekick and have him sidestep and throw a rear hook because that's going to be huge vulnerability there, Bane.
Yeah, no, the teeps and sidekicks to the midsection from Daniel the Freeman are impeccable, really just controlling the range and preventing Tolga from being the aggressor. But now you can see Tolga circling out, being a bit more lateral with the movement. But beautiful combination on the inside, spinning kick right there, partially blocked on the guard of Tolga.
Yeah, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from Toga. He's not being super aggressive. And look, the range is just so nice from him that he's able to punish, but he just needs to do a little bit more. Just get in range, maybe one step forward, and then maybe he'll get some. Because with his back is to the octagon or the arena right here, it's just giving him not much room to fight against Freeman. Freeman is doing a nice job going back in and back out right there, Valentine.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that neither of the fighters have gone for a takedown. As I say that, Tolga shoots for a takedown, not able to capitalize on it. Beautiful knee from Dan to stop it right there.
Good body.
Daniel Freeman impressing greatly with the strikes. Now he's a takedown attempt from Tolga, denied from the Freeman. Big rock with the knee.
Front kick landing, body shots landing. Freeman's in free mode. He is flowing like a butterfly right now, stinging like a bee with all these combinations. And now this is where he wants to do. He realized that he got his opponent rocked. Now going to the clinch and ground situation. So far, so good. And now he's just making his opponent uncomfortable. Toga is on his back foot right here, Valentine.
Definitely. If I'm Tolga, I'm looking to clinch. I'm looking to shoot. I'm looking to panic wrestle for my life because this is not going his way. Beautiful leg.
Not working.
Look at the health stats of Tolga. Head and body are deteriorating. Dan Freeman looking like he's about to go to a photo shoot in Milan. 10 seconds remaining in this opening round. Have to think. Massive first set of 5 minutes for Daniel the Freeman.
Yeah, and that was just a clean round from Freeman. I mean, from the rock, grappling, from the head kicks, as you see on the replay right there. Just a good showing for Freeman going to the second round there.
Definitely. I'm excited to see what changes Toro is going to bring to the second round, because it's the changes and the adjustments that you make that lead you to defending that belt 13 times, right? So neither of these guys are slouches. They're both wets in their own league. Let's see what changes he's able to make. That Freeman lands a beautiful head kick.
It's this is what I think Tolga needs to do. He needs to make this a dirty fight. But look at that massive front kick from Dan Freeman.
Yeah, he did this last round where it was a front kick, but then the slip from Tolga, that's still going to be a dangerous move. Oh, and again, if he didn't go to the body right there, if Tolga just went for a head kick, he might have been in range to get a flash KO or a stun maybe. But again, Tolga is still as he goes for a power slam here, Valentine.
That power slam could be the change of the turn. Right now, exactly what Tolga needed to change the pace up, because the tables might turn real quick with Tolga on top of you looking for those subs. If I'm Freeman, I am looking to get back to my feet as soon as possible, not giving any denials to Tolga. As I say that, he secures the back.
Oh, and that denial right there. It's tough. Bane, if you have to think, we've seen this before in maybe other previous Grand Prix, but it always seems like the fighter who's getting out-wrestled right here still has a chance to fight in the bottom situation. Maybe try to go for submission of his own as they go back to stand-up.
Great get up right there from Dan Freeman. Again, staying patient and composed on the bottom is the key to get back to the feet. But Tolga now opening up on the inside. Massive left hand, though, from Dan Freeman.
The 1-2 is acting like a DJ with the music of his striking right here as he's just denying these takedowns, and Tolga's just going with everything. Everything is not working for him, so he's just throwing out something to make it work. And he's getting some nice strikes, but the stamina is not going to be his huge advantage. He's going to have to pick his shots right here, Valentine.
Yeah, definitely. And right now, panic wrestling might not be the way to go forward. Maybe set it up just a little bit better. Again, Tolga is leaning more towards that slip lead uppercut. If Dan the Freeman is able to make that read, it might be a early night for Tolga. Beautiful straight body kick there.
It's just the body, the head health is just blinking for Tolga, and like there's still plenty of time in this fight. So, oh my goodness, how's that not a knockout right there? Are you kidding me? Oh, but that's a rock right there.
Oh, he's got the body blinking. He's got the
head my God.
Yes. This might just be as long as he's not able to whiff a strike.
Oh, wow.
On the ground. Told you guys, Freeman is my pick to win this.
That is it. Wow. Dan Freeman absolutely.
That basically was like a pinball sequence. I mean, we saw the headshots and then another headshots, even though this replay is not going to show because it's too graphic to show on the replay right here. It was just nasty. I mean, look at this angle to slip into the other side, not really doing much with the head health being so low. It was just a nice combination and so worked so well for Freeman. He is a scary competitor going to the finale.
Talk about a just performance to punch your ticket into the finals. Again, we were incredibly hyped on Tolga as he ran through purple Urkle, but Dan Freeman just put it all together. I am excited to see who meets him at the top of the mountain of the King of the Calves, whether it's going to be EK, Dirty Dave, or Owen.
I'm excited. We saw Owen put on a hell of a performance in his last contest. But EK Dirty, I mean, Valentine, you have to talk about EK Dirty because he knows how to put on the show. I mean, even though he skated out kind of closely in that last fight he was in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, EK is a great camp, right? We've addressed that time and time again. On Dirty Dave, he did get that dub. regardless of whatever we say, he was the one who won Kingsley. And Owen definitely has a challenge ahead of him. As much as I love my boy Dirty, I gotta go respect the chalk blue hair, man. I'm low-key hoping Owen wins this thing.
Yeah, but looking at Owen right here, 4-0, undefeated, probably 5-0. I mean, I'm giving it to him. #1 contender for the championship in his organization in aggro. Excellent combos and killer instinct as we saw in that last fight. And I'm excited. Can he do it again in this competition against EK Dirty and maybe push themselves to the finale? And as we're in the fighter selection screen, Bane, this is something you want to see. Balance Virtuoso has been the meta pick for this Grand Prix, but Kickboxer Sniper, maybe he'll switch off, but a lot to be seen here.
Owen has proved that if he is in on the inside and he's fighting in the phone booth, he excels. EK Dirty Dave taking a much more rangy approach with Balance Virtuoso. I'm anticipating EK Dirty Dave to move laterally and be circling out as much as he can. If Owen cuts off the cage and corners him, it could be lights out very quickly.
Definitely, Bane. What I am keen to see is who's the one to go and face Freeman. Because if it's Dirty, it's going to be a very balanced fight style. And if it happens to be Owen, we might just see a clinic on the feet. I'm very, very curious to see who's going to go through the finals.
Yeah, and one thing that we had to remember is that the way that Owen was able to defeat his opponent in the last round, he just put constant pressure. He was able to just land strikes and able to deny what he needs to deny. Well, Dirty Dave, he was able to land some strikes of his own. He was able to get some rocks and able to put it on his opponent. If he gets a takedown, it might be better for his situation, but he knows how to put the hands on his opponent.
Definitely there, Kingsley. And one thing I do know about Dave, he is one of the most patient fighter when it comes to going all 3 rounds. He does not look for the finish. He's more than happy to go to judges, as we saw from the last fight. And he's also just as equally happy for the finish to come to him, which makes him very, very dangerous to deal with. And for a fighter like Owen, like I said, he's a pressure fighter. He wants to be in the booth. Dave is not going to take that risk. He's not looking to turn this into a dogfight if there is no need for it, Bane.
Again, in the takedown right here, just looking so good. I mean, this is what Dirty Dave wants to do. It seemed like he was going a little bit of a dogfight. He was able to out-pressure the pressurer in that situation to stand up, but this is where his home is. Deny all the transitions from Owen, make him sit on the ground, let him waste that stamina trying to get out of this situation, and just put some punches on his opponent. Make him just think that he has an advantage and just try to seal that grapple advantage. As he gets a posture up right here, and now just go for hooks. They're working so well for him. And Valentine, I have to go to you. I mean, if you were Owen, what do you have to do to get out of this situation?
Be patient, because one thing I did see from Owen was doing those posts without any strikes incoming there, because that will just end up giving Dirty a free transition, which is the last thing you want to do, right? You're already on the ground where it's supposedly Dave's world, so you don't want to make mistakes when not needed. Beautiful gets up from there. Let's see if he's able to defend right and keep this on the feet. As I say that, what a lovely inside trip.
EK Dirty Dave showing that the dedication to grappling is paying dividends against the aggro champion. Just over 60 seconds remain in this opening round between these two semi-final contestants, and Owen has his work cut out for him, Kingsley.
Yeah, absolutely. He has his work cut out for him, but again, with 45 seconds left, if he's not going to get submission, he's going to get hit a bunch. But a huge thing is going to be the stamina of Dirty Dave. If he's able to just hold on to his stamina and just keep it consistently throughout the next couple of rounds, he's going to be in good standing. But if he gets to use all his stamina, just blow out his whole kitchen sink by these couple of seconds, I mean, it might be troubling for him. But so far, so good for Dirty Dave right here, Valentine.
Definitely, Kingsley. And like I said, right, look at the patience coming from Dave. He is in no rush to look for that posture up. It looked like Owen was denying that posture up a couple times. But you are in his world, mate. At this point, you just need to work on your takedown defense and hope to outbox him in the pocket, because that's the only way I see Owen winning this fight right now.
You can see that's exactly what he's trying to do, but Dirty Dave slips that right hand over the shoulder, catching Owen, pushing him backwards.
No!
He gets a drop. Oh, and he tells him to sit down. Don't even try it against me in the pocket. Dave is good all around. Ducks the head kick. Let's see what Owen's able to do right now, Bane.
It's really scary right now. These are scary hours for Owen. Tries to go for a head kick, gets slipped out, and gets knocked down. And this is not what you want to see. Dave able to prove that he had some better ground game skills, but then going to the striking, now he's just taking advantage of his opponent in the striking. This is not where you want to be with Owen. You want to have that one good skill against your opponent, but now it seems like he's just down in the scorecards and in the advantage when it comes to these skills.
I mean, this is something we spoke about earlier, wasn't it, Kingsley? Like, you want to have your opponent think low, go high, go low, think high, right? Because that's what Dave did in the first round. He paired him with the ground game. Now, Owen's worried about the ground game, that his striking is starting to lose focus. As I say that, Dave gets the takedown. This is not looking great for Owen right now. He needs to get back to his feet.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to think the elbows in the side control, in the side tail, and now going to the stand-up. I'm surprised he's landed that situation back up. Maybe he feels a little bit too confident in his striking. But again, those pulls with a knee. Man, it's getting close, man. It's getting scary.
You can see Owen really trying his best to mix things up, right? The kicks to the leg, into the body attempts, but EK Dirty Dave just has a bit of an advantage everywhere, and that head health of Owen is concerning. I'm kind of shocked to see him really selling out as much as he is in this second round. Again, there are still 5 minutes remaining in this third round and a decent amount of time in this second. He needs to stay composed and stay patient, Valentine.
Definitely patience is the key word right there. So is composure. All Owen needs to do is let Dave make those mistakes in the pocket, in the phone booth. Oh, that is a nasty head kick from Dave. As I say,
God.
Owen punishes him for that.
Oh my goodness, we're seeing Owen come back to life. Oh my goodness, if he didn't block, that could have been so damaging. It is scary here. Owen put it on his opponent, and this is the danger of going against a very nice striker. Even though you feel confident in your strikes, the pulls, the head kicks, the uppercuts, they will land, and that stamina will get low, so you can't put anything to rest. You need to keep fighting and just be comfortable with your striking, but the momentum has shifted so far here, Bane.
Defending yourself at all times mantra stays true through this second round. EK Dirty Dave eats a bit of a shot right there to conclude things. Have to think Owen, right, suffering a bit at the beginning of that round, but coming on strong at the end of it. Final 5 minutes remain to determine who meets Tolga in the finals.
Wasn't it Freeman?
Yeah,
Sorry, Dan Freeman. Apologies.
Oh, you're good.
How you gonna do my boy Freeman like that? Come on, man.
Wow. Honestly, so in this third and final round right here, we know that possibly Dirty Dave has his fight 2 rounds to 0 going into the third round. But again, we have that nice bit of momentum going into that end of the second round. He needs to find a way to get out of this ground situation and maybe try to catch his opponent, probably cause a mistake from Dirty Dave, but Dirty Dave doing so well controlling his opponent. And this is where, when you pick a calf and you pick a style, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is going better against balance, and it's just working so well for him.
Definitely, and you do see Dave being a lot more patient on the ground, going for those posture-ups when he knows he has a stamina advantage to get the free position. Now he's inside control, looking for a denial. Beautiful denial from Owen. That might be a little too obvious, trying to use the cage to go for the side control. Let's hope that doesn't happen again, because that might just end the fight right there, Kingsley.
It's tough. And again, posture up. I mean, the strikes are landing, and so far, Dirty Dave, I mean, he had 2 minutes of control right now from this third and final round. So if he just keeps it up, he's going to be in good standing. But again, it's up to Owen to figure out a way to get out of this, because Bane, it's just time is winding down and he's losing a lot of time here.
It really is, and this round was predicated by a tough second round for Owen, so he really needs to be a bit more urgent to make things happen. Great get up from him right there. Needs to stay up. Can he do it? No, he can't. EK Dirty Dave drags him back to the mat. This has got to be a world of pain for Owen.
Yeah,
Dave is... Sorry, Kingsley. I was just going to say, Dave, like I said, is more than happy to see the whole 3 rounds through. At this point, potentially being 2 rounds up, it's all down to Owen to get this fight back to the feet. As I say that, he gets locked in on the Kimura, and this is looking too tight right now, babe.
Submission defense for Owen appears to be all right. The tracking, though, on that submission is improving. You have to think once it hits those gates, the Kimura can escalate quite quickly. EK Dirty Dave does have the stamina advantage in this one. Will Owen be able to get out of it? Even if he does, Kingsley, there's just not a lot of time on the clock.
You hit the nail on the head. I was going to say, you took all this time away from Owen, and now with 30 seconds left, he's not going to have much time to even get a finish. That health, that body is so... just like they're already in just a point in time, and you can see this is, even though it's kind of sandbagging, this is what Dave wants to do. You already won the fight. I mean, 10 seconds left. I mean, there's no need to pressure your opponent, not set up for a cause. So good strategy, good fight from Dirty Dave, able to put his IQ on stage in that semifinal.
A lot of people. Some may be disappointed with EK Dirty Dave, of course, being the intelligent fighter that he is, riding that one out, not standing and trading for the last 20 seconds with Owen. You can see there easily secures the decision win. Now he meets Daniel Freeman in the finals of the King of the Calf tournament. 30-27s across all scorecards. Beautiful performance from EK Dirty Dave.
And also, one other thing I want to point out, like, even though he's sandbagging that last couple of seconds in that third and final round, he did so much work in the first and second round. So the fact that, like, people might have a disagreement on how he ended the fight, he did a lot of work in the beginning of the fight to put him in that situation. It was up to his opponent to find a way to combat that, and he just didn't. So kudos for both competitors again there. But again, that's what he needed to do. He did what he needed to, and it worked really well.
Definitely, Kingsley. And going into the finals, the Freeman versus Dirty, I believe we're looking at Morbid Mad Lad for some reason.
Yeah.
Just might be a title there.
A lot of controversy.
Hey, Mad Lad might make a case that in my opinion, he got robbed. But that's for another day. Right now, we got Dirty versus Freeman going into the final to become the first ever King of the Calves at PrimeTime. What a matchup, Bane. What do you expect to see from either of these guys?
You know, I think EK Dirty Dave is going to really try to implement the grappling early, but Daniel Freeman has shown that the takedown defense is on point. So we're going to see a bit of phone booth fighting, maybe some clinch entries, and then some range as the fight progresses would be my prediction, but you never know how these fights are going to go.
There it is. There is the bracket that we want to see, Freeman versus Dirty, and I'm excited to see what happens in this finale. I mean, we saw potentially a fight of the night in the first round, but I feel like this has fight of the tournament written all over it. Freeman coming off just excellent grappling matches and excellent striking going against Togo, but then EK Dirty able to put his grappling on showing and also his striking. So both guys have similar fight styles, and it's going to be really interesting how both competitors fight in this situation here.
Definitely, and what I'm keen to see, right, what we really saw from Freeman that made him stand out to me was those counters to those takedowns. Now, Dirty does need to keep in mind while shooting for the takedowns, if he doesn't set it up properly, he might not only waste stamina, he might be giving away top control and potentially a stronger position.
I'm so excited. I mean, whether EK Dirty proves to be king of the cast with his strategy, or Freeman with his counters, with his striking, with his grappling. The only one, funny enough, I thought we were going to see a lot of submissions in this Grand Prix, but we only saw one, and that was only from Toga. So could we possibly see a submission here? I feel like everyone's going more of the striking or the ground and pound situation. Could we possibly see a submission from these competitors? What do you think, guys?
I mean, submission's always there, right? Like you said, we only saw one. It's not for lack of trying. I feel like people just did not have the opportunity. And it's always position over submission, because the last thing you want to do is go for a sub that's uncalled for and give up a strong position that you had over them if you could have just waited 10 more seconds to get an even better position to put that sub in. And lads, we are in the finals now, showcasing one of the final contender, EK Dirty, 4-1 all-time personal record on PlayStation with being #1 previous Xbox champ. We did see his grappling and we also saw his pressure fighting. One thing you gotta keep an eye out for is his intelligence and strategy when it comes to the arena.
Yeah, and when you look at his opponent in the other side, the other finalists, when it goes to this Grand Prix, I mean, the Freeman, free in his opponent's minds when it comes to his striking and grappling. Very much a strong competitor. I mean, 20-2, 15 knockouts, 2 submissions, 3 decisions, 2-time champion. This guy is a champ. Finished season 1 with 13 defenses, and he's a balanced fighter, and he's a strategist. Keyword, strategy. This is going to be the most important thing when it comes to finale, because you already fought 2 competitors to get to this situation. What is your strategy going to be when you face a guy similar in your attributes in your game plan? You have to figure out and use your strategy, use your IQ to see if you can win this matchup, and I'm so excited to get things going here, Bane.
The good news is Daniel the Freeman, as a strategy-oriented fighter, has seen what EK Dirty Dave is going to bring to him throughout the last several fights. But again, that's also true for the other side of it. We'll say representing PrimeTime is EK Dirty Dave, representing the VFC is Daniel the Freeman. We will see which promotion reigns supreme in just a moment.
We're just waiting for these guys to load up in their lobby, lads. Whew, VFC, PrimeTime. Can't wait.
Yeah, and first of all, before we even get to the main event, let's just shout out all these organizations for putting on these fighters and just supporting the organization. The PT, of course, for putting on this show, VFL, Argo, VFC, for bringing these fighters in, giving us such an amazing card for the guys on Twitch and on YouTube for Primetime MMA. Shout out to all you guys for being in chat. Shout out to our moderators for having such an amazing time. And Bane, we are ready to go. As you see, balance versus balance. Let's see how this goes down.
It's going to be a 5-round fight, right?
I think it should be, possibly. Okay, so yeah, we just got word from the back that it's gonna be a 5-round fight, and this is a unique challenge: balance versatile versus balance virtuoso. So both guys going for the balance attribute, so it could go anywhere in this matchup here.
Easily, and they both decide to do it in welterweight. Again, the weight class does make a huge difference when it comes to the speed of the fighters. Block from excuse me, Freeman. Sorry that he caught me off guard. He goes into a straight jab, side kick. Beautiful return by Dirty.
Teleporting across the octagon momentarily just there, bit of a supernatural edge to the Freeman's attack potentially. You can see the feints from that lead leg, right? Just testing out that side kick. Great sprawl right there from him, Kingsley.
Yeah, that's a great spot, and that's a good indication of what Freeman's going to need to do. He's going to need to watch out for those takedowns and just take advantage. When you get that denial and now you're into top mount position, get some damage on your opponent. Maybe go for a back flat or take the back. Maybe go for a submission. I don't know if he's going to go for the rear naked choke here, but so far, just get some damage on your opponent. Just get these little wins, because those little wins will amount to a big victory, especially since it's a 5-round fight. It's going to be a 5-round war for the get-go for both of these competitors here, Valentine.
Definitely, Kingsley. And the RNC is always there. I know some people, might still call it cheesy, it being a strong sub, but it's legal, guys. Don't get yourself in a position where you can get RNC. Dave has put himself in that position a couple times now. We are seeing an interesting take from Freeman. Normally, he's the one to return to the feet, but he is showing Dave that I am no slouch on the ground, mate. And if you want this fight to go here, we can do anything you want. Goes for a stag guard, gets denied.
And this
style from Dave goes for a reversal.
Oh, big. That's okay. Gonna say Daniel Freeman again, really illustrating what balanced means, being well-rounded in the grappling in this one and striking in other fights. You can see framing off a little bit now. Posture up for EK Dirty Dave. Landing in the midsection, coming back down, Kingsley.
Yeah, and so far, this is where you want to be. I mean, even though he got stand up, he seemed like he was in a good position, but this is where the footsies game is going to come in hand. What are you going to do with the head kicks? What are you going to do with the spinning back kick that we're seeing from both guys? What can you possibly do to get your opponent off guard? Because we know that this fight is going to go back to the ground. It's all about what you could do damage-wise or set up your opponent for future on damage opportunities. And right now, this is what you want to do. The strategist come into play. Just back up the opponent. He gets hit with a head kick with a spare takedown. This is bad news for Freeman right there, Valentine.
Definitely, what a beautiful IQ play from Dave there. Gets the rock and goes for a spear. I would have never thought the spear was available there, but he must have really noticed the stamina drain from all those punches that Freeman threw as he held on to his leg. This is a very good position for Dave right now. Camera angle playing us up. We are back into position, lads.
First several minutes of this one goes to obviously Dan Freeman, but EK Dirty Dave coming alive as this opening round progressed, first to 5 potentially, and Dan Freeman, Kingsley, has a lot of questions to answer in this second round.
Yeah, I mean, as we're going to the last 5 seconds, I mean, you'll take this. You'll absolutely take this, but you don't want to take much damage. Again, it's a 5-round fight. If it was a 3-round fight, I'd be a little bit more concerned, but again, you could lose a round like this and then have the adaptability or the strategy to go in the second round and change things up. I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing when it goes into it. I mean, we saw The Rock from Dirty Dave doing some wonders. So let's see if we can see Freeman come back and do some damage here.
Beautiful sidestep from Dirty Dave. One thing you do notice there, Bane, is the stance that he's gone for the Wonder Boy stance, which does allow him to use those planted roundhouse kicks that come out freakishly fast and deceivingly quick as well. This is something really to be careful of. Those spin kicks, man, cost him the fight.
It's the sways and lateral movement of EK Dirty Dave to get out of the way of these offerings that allows for those counter opportunities. Now, again, on the inside, Freeman is dangerous, but EK Dirty Dave bats him away once more, Kingsley.
Yeah, and the one thing that we're seeing is that Dirty Dave is taking advantage of these mistakes that Freeman is doing. We saw Freeman go to the wrong way and then perfectly capitalized by Dirty Dave. It takes a skilled person in just a high altitude situation in the spotlight to just capitalize and make those right punishment moves. I mean, look at this. Denies a takedown, going to his opponent's back and just doing something that he can possibly do. I mean, look, just the chess game is working so well for him. And Valentine, I have to think Freeman has to be in his own head going to these next couple of seconds.
Definitely, man. I think he definitely does. Probably is in his own head when it comes to the nerves as well. Because nothing is going according to plan from our perspective anyway, unless he has a different plan, because he's being sidestepped, he's being swayed, and he looks like he might be out-grappled to certain extents, even though he did outshine Dirty in the first couple minutes of the first round. Right now, it's not looking too good, Bane.
You know, Dirty Dave is just finding these angles, but Daniel Freeman has 3 more rounds with which to work and 2 minutes remaining in this second round. It's not really a dire situation. He's got so much time to come back, but EK Dirty Dave is doing so much great damage and finding shots off of angles that Daniel Freeman simply is not seeing.
Yeah, and so I mean that's a nice uppercut, but again, the 2 rocks into that third rock right there. It's just working so well for Dave, and he landed that. He executed his game plan of just getting his opponent off guard. Those leg kicks, those body shots, and now to the head where it's straight, it's landing, and that becomes a rock. But again, those are mistakes. Those mistakes will cost Dave everything if he gets punished again.
It looks like the vulnerability slot was missed because he couldn't get that rock. Because normally when you whiff that spin, you do tend to get a health of him. But we keep it moving. Dirty Dave looks like he's starting to lose the edge right now. Freeman feeling more comfortable in this round, and he takes the fight to the ground, changing the whole pace of the fight. This is what Dave's really good at, Kingsley, is turning the pace. Sorry, Bane.
All good. Gonna say sub-minute. Great turning takedown opportunity for EK Dirty just to get some of that control time back in him after what was a somewhat contested second round. As that second round continued, Daniel Freeman had much more success, but again, EK Dirty Dave proving that the grappling dominance continues through the first 10 minutes, Kingsley.
Yeah, and this is so bad. You saw a little bit of that stamina just blinking red when it came to the last seconds of that second round, so that's going to be a huge thing to check on in this third round right here. Does Freeman have enough head health or leg health or even stamina to combat the trades of Dirty Dave? And it's going to be interesting to see what Dirty Dave does in this situation if he doesn't make a mistake here, Valentine.
I think it's going to be very hard for him to make a mistake right now. From what we are seeing, as we see that he lands a jab into a rock and then takes it down further with the uppercut, knocks him down, keeps him against the cage, not able to capitalize anything there, Bane. Right now, Freeman is struggling on the feet, on the ground. What will you do if you're Freeman there, Bane?
Wow. Oh! You definitely don't want to do that. Get knocked down. This could be bad for Daniel Freeman. EK Dirty Dave looking like a cerebral fighter here tonight, just countering everything that Dan Freeman wants to do and imposing his will. Stacked guard for the blue corner right now. This is terrible for Dan Freeman, Kingsley.
The strategy has been downloaded for Dirty Dave. Able to rock his opponent 5 times, get 2 knockdowns, getting close up with a spinning back fist. This is a lot of time in the third round, and now it's up to Freeman to find a way out. But every time he tries to find a solution, Dirty Dave creates another problem for Freeman to solve. And man, it's just so bad because he doesn't have a lot of stamina to even like force these trades. I mean, one straight could be the end of it here.
Great takedown defense from EK Dirty Dave. And again, as you mentioned, right, the damage that's been done to Daniel Freeman is unknown, right? We don't see that. That is it! Wow! EK Dirty Dave gets the finish!
What a knockout.
Oh, just wow. See magnifique. Just delicious knockout right there. Just slipping, ducking under of the head kick and just landing a right, I think it was a right hook. Yeah, right hook right there. Just clean.
Daniel Freeman went for broke. He tried something big and paid massively for it. Absolutely perfect performance from EK Dirty Dave.
Hey, man. Sorry, Kingsley, go.
Oh, you're good. No, go ahead, Dave. Valentine.
I was just going to say, not only was it a KO, just comes to show, right? Not really trying to brag here, but PrimeTime seems to be the league on the King of Calves until next week. Or next show.
Yeah, I mean, kudos. I mean, Dirty Dave officially King of the Calves. That is his official title here around these parts. I mean, we saw the fight stats. It was 20-18. He dominated the whole fight from the get-go, able to capitalize on mistakes, able to just land some good combinations. And when he felt the momentum shifting into his opponent's way, he was able to go for a takedown, keep his opponent there, and just reset all the momentum. And just Freeman not able to get much momentum back from that situation. But good job from Dirty Dave from PrimeTime MMA to get the victory and win the whole tournament. I mean, he gone through a whole gauntlet of fires there, Bane.
Absolutely taking out both of the aggro incumbents, Morbid Madlight in the preliminary round and then Owen in the semifinals, and going toe-to-toe with the Frenchman Daniel Freeman to solidify himself as the current king of the created fighters. Beautiful performance and a great tournament all around. Massive thank you to the commentators in the booth, Kingsley and KM, Valentine joining me today, and to the viewers watching. I believe that we're going to do a raid just to push the community support forward. Unsure who will let the boys in the back figure it out, but stick around for that one. And once again, thank you for watching PrimeTime MMA.
Have a good one, y'all.